Hello, our live tonight. So excited to be here. We are doing a live podcast recording, an Amazon gift card giveaway, and I'm going to share how all of you who are here tonight can get a free Kindle copy of my brand new book, Educate and Rejuvenate. Hello, I see a bunch of you tuning in. So excited to see you here. Let me know that you're here in the comments. I want to hear from you because every comment, how we're going to give away a gift card, is going to be from the comments. Hello, Erica. Welcome. So excited to see you here. So make sure to comment in the chat and engage as we do this live podcast. That is how we are going to pick our winner. Hello, Clarissa from Southeast Georgia. Hello, Charity. We are streaming, multi-streaming, both to the Educate and Rejuvenate platforms. That is my company and Teacher Goals, because Teacher Goals published the book. So this is a collaboration. It's been so fun this past month getting this book out into the world and sharing these tips with all of you. And so tonight I'm going to be sharing one of the concepts from the book that whenever I teach it, everybody's just like, oh, I love it. And it's a really quick and easy one to understand. Hello, Christy from Indiana. So excited to see so many of you here. And again, make sure that you are popping in the comments. I see a whole bunch of you on Teacher Goals. Make sure you're engaging in the chat. That is how you're going to enter to win. We are giving away a $25 Amazon gift card to somebody who is here live tonight. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to give a few more minutes. We usually just give a few minutes for people to get here as the email's going out and people are joining in. So I want to know, do you all have a fall break this week? Do any of you have a fall break or here soon? When is your fall break? The schools around here today, we just got out, and so we have a fall break. But I know it varies all around the country, and some of you might even be not even in the United States either. We've got people from all over. So Erica says no fall break at all, or just no fall break this week. I realized I said this week, but really just in general, if you have a fall break, when is it? Charity is rereading chapters 2 and 3 for tomorrow night. Yes, everybody who has a copy of the book can join us at our book club, which we are doing tomorrow. Is going to be the second night of our book club, chapters 2 and 3. If you haven't started the book, that's totally fine. We welcome you. You'll also get the replays. So when you claim your book, make sure that you also scan the QR code to claim the resources so you get the invite to the book club. When you do that, when you get your copy of the book, so this is the physical copy, it could be the Kindle as well. There's a link and a QR code within the pages of the book that you'll find, and you'll want to claim all the bonuses. There are so many bonuses that you'll get with the book. Tanya says, no fall break. Darn it, Tanya. Yeah, I didn't. Well, actually, when I taught, we had this standard break. Everybody in the state had the same one, but they've since changed that. So now it still varies district by district. Okay, sorry, I'm like hitting my mic. I've got my podcast stuff because remember, we're doing a live podcast recording tonight. It's going to be fun. Charity is conferences tomorrow and Friday. Erica has no fall break at all. Darn. Heather says, my school has a week off every 6 weeks. What is that? Are you like on a track system or something, or that's just something your school does? That is so cool. I have not heard of that before. Next week, you are heading off to Nashville and Chattanooga. Oh, you're going to have so much fun. Congratulations on getting off every 6 weeks. I bet so many here would love that. So better keep that job, right? That one where you get a week off every 6 weeks. I love it. We all probably have different perks wherever we are though. So, okay. Yes. I see many more of you have tuned in. Amazing. Clarissa, you just got out on your fall break. You just got off your fall break. So does that mean you went back? You're like, oh yeah, I had a fall break and now it's done. Charity gets an extra day off of Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's so interesting how it varies. But, at the end of the day, we all have, like 180 days of school, right? Or give or take a bit, depending on where you're at. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to dive into our fun plans tonight. So we have almost 300 of us streaming right now. So fun throughout the various platforms. Most of you are on Teacher Goals. So hey, Teacher Goals X, which I still always want to call Twitter. Welcome all of you on Twitter or X. Make sure that you get in the chat, because remember, whenever you engage in the chat, and I can see all of the platforms here on StreamYard. So if I read a comment and you're like, I can't see that, it's because we are multi-streaming to a bunch of different platforms with Educate and Rejuvenate and Teacher Goals. Lisa says hello from Plano, Texas on fall break. Yes. Hello from Phoenix. Hari's from Phoenix. Welcome, welcome. Clarissa says it was the first day back and we had an extra day due to Milton. Oh yeah. How are you all doing out there? Oh my goodness. My heart has just been like broken seeing all the craziness that's been going on the East Coast. Like, it's just wild. I hope you're all doing okay, Clarissa. Twitter is now X. That's strange. Yeah, it's called X now. Elon changed it. For us, Milton was not as bad as Helene. That's good. But it's just been devastating seeing, both Helene and Milton like back to back. Like, my thoughts, prayers, all that goes out to everyone affected by those hurricanes. No fun. Okay, so we are 6 minutes in. Let's get going. So today we are doing a live podcast recording, but before we dive into that, I do want to share really quick how you can claim your copy of Educate and Rejuvenate if you have not yet. So first, I want to know in the chat, have any of you already been reading the book? I know some of you have. I know Charity had already said she's reading it. She's rereading chapters 1 and 2 after already reading the whole book, it sounds like. Love it. Okay, I need to make sure I'm sharing the correct screen here. Is it going to show me? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Do you all see that? Oh, interesting blue background. It has not done that before. That's all right. Okay. So you will see the book here, right? So any of you can claim for only about 24 more hours. We have a free Kindle copy of the book. Now, this is something that Teacher Goals decided to offer. I don't know if they're going to do that again, so definitely take advantage on it. Erica says it's on her TBR. I love it. Make sure you claim your copy. So for one, you can always purchase a paperback if you'd like. It is very glossy, and the layout, like, they just did such a great job with it, and all the images and everything. I do love having the physical copy of the book, but for 24 more hours, you can also claim the Kindle. So I want to show you how. And this is before the podcast recording, because this will not go on the podcast, because by the time we actually get this on the podcast, it's not going to be free anymore. It's only 24 hours. So that's why I'm like, okay, going to share it quick right now. So you will just need to toggle over to the Kindle if you're on the paperback, and you'll see, oh, just kidding, I need to be on an account that hasn't already bought it or already claimed it, because I tested it already, and now it won't let. Well, and actually I bought it. Let's be real. I bought my own Kindle. I pre-ordered it as soon as it was available, because it was so fun to do that. But anyways, here it'll just let you kind of buy it now for $0 if you haven't already done it. Sorry, I meant to actually show you, but then it's like you already own it. So hopefully you can figure it out. If you have any issues, feel free to email hello@educateandrejuvenate.com and we will help you, but just make sure you're logged into your Amazon. And the other question we've been getting, you do not have to have a Kindle to read a Kindle book. You can get the Kindle app on your phone as well and read Kindle books on there. So you don't have to have a Kindle. I mean, some people are like, I don't like to read ebooks. I totally get it. If you'd rather have the physical, that's why we have that available too. But this was a way for us to kind of get it into more of your hands to celebrate a month of the book. And again, that's only for the Kindle. Okay, so I want to show you the part of the reason why they were doing this is we're really trying to get more reviews on the book. It's what helps us get the book out to more teachers. It helps teachers to know that they might enjoy this book, that this book might be for them. So what I would love and appreciate for you to do once you claim that copy of the book, make sure to, once you feel like comfortable enough, you're like, okay, yeah, I know what this book is about. Obviously, I'm not asking you to like blind leave a review, but we would love for you to come and leave a review. And we've had some questions about how to do that. We've had people like, oh, I don't know how to make sure I'm reviewing the right one, like the right format. So it doesn't matter if you're on the Kindle or the paperback when you go to leave the review, they all go onto the same listing. And then you have to scroll down. It's not like super intuitive. And I know a lot of us buy things on Amazon and rarely leave reviews. Like I know, I do it too, but it does really help. So if you would be willing to do that, you just come here and you go to write a customer review. This is when I was testing it out and just seeing how it worked, right? Oh, I'm actually on my husband's account. I didn't even realize what Amazon account I'm on. So anyway, you'll just leave the star rating. You'll like write, a headline, write your review. It can be super simple. Don't overthink it. And then you can also put a photo or video, like if you happen to have a physical copy of the book, or if you want to like take a photo of it on your phone or your Kindle or whatever, that does help too. It does help the book, Amazon push it out more if there are photos with it. So that does really help us. So if you are willing to do that, I would appreciate it so much. I read every single one and it makes my day. And I wish I could actually respond to each review and thank you, but it doesn't give me that information to do it. So take this as a thank you. And the other thank you we are doing now, we are not allowed to be like, if you write a review, we will do this for you. Like that is a no on Amazon. But what we are doing is we are doing rewards when we hit different tiers of reviews for our entire email list. So make sure you're on our email list. You could, if you aren't sure if you're on it, just make sure when you claim your book that you scan the code and claim the free stuff, and that will add you to our email list. As soon as we hit 25 reviews, which I happen to know there are already some pending, so I know that tomorrow we are going to hit that. But again, there are like, we're so close, right? And then when we hit 50, we are going to have another thing. So tomorrow, our whole email list should be getting, as long as we hit that 25, I think it should hit it. If not, get your review in now so you can help us hit that 25. We are going to send our Halloween directed drawings, both the upper and lower grade version, to our entire email list. So make sure you're on our email list, or if for some reason you're not and you're like, I missed it or whatever, just email us, hello@educateandrejuvenate.com. We'll get you on there so you don't miss the next ones, and we'll send you the resource. So you'll get these really cute directed drawings for Halloween just in time. We've got upper and lower versions. They have writing to go with it too, so it's educational. We picked these because we're like, okay, these will work for like a big range of people, like grade levels, right? So we've got the lower, we've got the upper, so you'll get these for free. And these should hopefully be going out tomorrow, as long as we can get 3 more reviews tonight. If all of you went on and left a review though, we would immediately hit over 100, and that would get us 2 more tiers of reviews. So what we're going to do is, as soon as we hit 50 reviews, we're going to send the Christmas version to our entire email list. And as soon as we hit 100 or 75, I think is the next one, we will send the entire bundle to our email list, all the holidays. And then after that, we'll pick a new product to start sharing with people whenever we hit the review tiers. So it's not like, individual basis, but it's a collective basis of when we hit this number of reviews, we'll send you more stuff. And then for those of you, I know there's some of you here who are like, I'm an Educate and Rejuvenate Club member. I already get all of this. What about me? Don't worry. We thought about you. Our club members are, we're going to put a Starbucks card into the members only Facebook group, a prepaid Starbucks card, because we know you already have the resources. So instead you'll get to get a Starbucks. So that is for the Educate and Rejuvenate Club members. Okay, so I think that is everything before we head into the podcast. Clarissa said, just download it. I have to practice reading on my Kindle as I preferred hard copies, but I have so many books on my list. Totally get it. The one thing I love about Kindles, and it took me some time, and I actually got a Kindle Scribe, which made it easy because I love it. But before that, on my phone, it's nice that you do, you can be randomly, at the checkout line in a long line or something, and you can get out your phone and you have your book right there. So it does make it really nice to be able to do that. And you are so welcome. For those of you who are reading it that way, for those of you who already bought it, you got tons of bonuses that are no longer available, but also email us, and we always love to make sure that you feel taken care of too. Okay, so how many members of the club are there now? I don't know the exact number right now. That's a good question. I mean, it's always a membership is always up and down, up and down. But yes, we will put that Starbucks card. Those of you who are super active in there all the time, you definitely won't miss it. Kindle Scribe seems real nice, Jelly. It is so nice, but the bummer thing, don't you hate when there's technology and you have the version? I just saw literally like 15 minutes before this live that they have a new one that has features that I wish this one had, that I was like, oh, I wish I could just write on the book, and now it does. And I'm like, but I can't buy another one. Like, how many books could a new Kindle Scribe buy? So many books. So I can't right now, but it does seem so cool. So for those of you who don't have one yet, good time to get it. Has a lot of features I wish mine had. And you can read your free Kindle book on it, right? Erica said she saw that. It looks so cool. I'm like so jealous of everyone who's going to have that version, but I'm happy they did it because it's something I wish they'd done to begin with. So it's a great feature that they've added. Okay. So let's get to the podcast. I don't know why I have this weird border around me. There we go. Too hard to read on my phone for too long, poor eyesight. Yeah. And some of you might not like to read on your phone. Again, that's totally fine too. And we have the physical copy for those who want that. And we have tons of stuff that you get too, like bonuses and everything when you purchase a physical copy of the book. A lot of our launch week bonuses, some of them are still available. Some were just for launch week for those who bought then, but we've got so much stuff available to those who grab it, such as like tickets to our event and credit to our shop and different things you can get when you purchase a copy. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to dive into the podcast, and it's like we are in the podcast studio now. I'm going to be recording. If I mess up, I'll do it again. And last time I told everyone that, and then I immediately messed up and did it again. It was hilarious. So you'll see if I do that. I will also like kind of record the little teaser, and then I'll be like, okay, and now we're going to put the intro in here. And then we'll get into the show. But the other cool thing, since we're doing a live recording, is I actually do want your comment, your feedback, your engagement on some of the stuff we're going to do. I'm going to ask like, hey, put your answer in the chat to this, or a thought you might put in here. You'll get what I mean by that when we get into the content. I would love your engagement. And remember, every single time you comment is an entry to win a $25 gift card to Amazon too. When does the book club meet? Good question. So our next one is tomorrow. And then if you have a copy, oh, and yes, Lisa, you should definitely be invited. They should all be on the club calendar and the book club calendar that we sent out to everyone who purchased a copy of the book and to everyone in the Educate and Rejuvenate Club. So check your email. We have the full schedule there. I don't remember all of it on the top of my head. It's approximately every 2 weeks through December. Hannah's late to the party, but she's here. Hello, Hannah. We're just about to start the actual podcast recording. In typical Kelsey fashion, we're 17 minutes in, and now we're about to start the recording. Welcome, Gloria. Good to see you, Gloria. Okay. So, all right. Like I said, we're going to start the recording now. So, and I'm going to make sure, see my pop filter, that's this thing, as helps with the sound. It keeps falling down. So, there we go. Should be good now. Okay, get my notes up. See, this is like for real. You guys are seeing backstage me recording a podcast. Okay. How often do you find yourself thinking negatively about yourself or your teaching? Today, you'll learn 2 simple hacks to shift your teaching mindset. And I was not looking at the camera, so I'm going to do that again, actually. Because I remember this one, we're actually going to really encourage people to watch the video version because there are visuals that I'll be sharing. So I need to make sure I'm looking at the camera right at the very beginning. See, I told you, I will repeat myself if I need to. How often do you find yourself being critical about yourself or your teaching? Today, we are going to go over 2 simple hacks that are going to help you to shift your mindset from positive to negative. Wait, no. Okay, blooper time, not positive to negative, from negative to positive. Okay, we're going to do that. Usually there's not that many. As soon as I tell everybody that I'm going to have bloopers, I have bloopers. It's like inevitable. Okay. Remember to comment in the chat too that's giving you your entries to win the $25 Amazon gift card. How often do you find yourself thinking negative? Can we need to do a blooper reel? Hannah's dying. I've like psyched myself out. It's totally fine. Okay. From negative to positive, or positive to negative. I can't even, I'm like dying over that. Okay. How often do you find yourself thinking negatively about yourself or your teaching? Today, you'll learn 2 simple hacks that will help you shift your thinking from negative to positive. Welcome to Educate and Rejuvenate, the podcast, episode 153. Let's dive in. Woo! I did it, you guys. Okay, now we are going to insert the intro. Oh my gosh, LOL, keeping it real. I love all your comments here. This will all get cut out because we're going to put the like intro music and stuff. You've got this. Hey, it's all good, Kelsey. We're here for it. I love it. You've all got the blooper. I feel like we should almost like put the bloopers at the end because that was so funny. Especially that I would help you shift your thoughts from positive to negative. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, and for those of you who just tuning in, this is going on Educate and Rejuvenate, the podcast, to celebrate the Educate and Rejuvenate book. I'm going to share a tip from it. We are just about to record the episode because I saw a bunch of you just tuned in now. Love it. So glad you're here. Okay. So, everybody, welcome to the podcast today. I'm so excited to be here for this episode. And this is one that I've been really thrilled to record for a while. And I've actually... a while back, I was like, oh yeah, my podcast episode about bridge thoughts and matter thoughts. Like there are concepts that I use. And again, you're probably like, wait, what are you talking about? Don't worry, I'm going to get into it. I might have revealed what the 2 hacks are, but it's something I've talked about a lot with my club members. And then I realized, wait, we do not have a podcast about this. Like how did I get 153 episodes in without sharing 2 of my absolute favorite hacks for thought work? And thought work is like where you're thinking about your thinking and working on thinking more positively, right? And these 2 simple hacks are just so simple. I mean, it's really in the name. Like, so I'm really excited to share them today. You are going to walk away from this episode with an actionable strategy. In fact, 2 actionable strategies that are going to help you to shift your mindset when you find yourself thinking like, oh, I should have done this, or oh, I'm just such a terrible teacher, or whatever might be coming to your mind, or I should not be teaching my own child. What was I thinking? And whatever it is coming into your mind. You're going to find a way to kind of shift that. And you might not go, it's not about toxic positivity. It's not about suddenly going from like, I cannot teach my child to I'm the best teacher ever. That doesn't work, right? Like, because we all try that from time to time, right? We're like, okay, I just need to think this. But if it doesn't work, if it doesn't fit, if it's like you're trying to put on an article of clothing that doesn't fit you, well, then it's not going to work. So we're going to talk about what is going to work. So I'm really excited for today's episode. And again, this is going to be 2 different ways to go from a negative thought you're thinking to another. It's one of the most popular tools that when I share it, I've done some events this year. And when I share this one, it's just been really like, oh, I really like that one. And it's in my book and people love this one. So I'm like, I thought it was the perfect one to share while I'm live on the Teacher Goals platform. So I do want to mention for those watching this later, this is actually a live podcast recording. So I've got 719 right at this precise moment, friends on the Teacher Goals platform and Educate and Rejuvenate platforms. So I'm going to bring them in a little bit during certain times. I'm going to get participation. So you're not only going to hear from me, but also what are some really sticky thoughts that a lot of other educators are having and how are we going to shift them? And we're going to actually see this happen in real time. It's going to be so cool. So the one last thing I want to mention before we dive into it is if you are listening to this on Apple or Spotify, I would actually highly recommend that you switch on over to either YouTube or our Educate and Rejuvenate app. So if you didn't know, we have a mobile app now. It is free. You can go download it in Apple Store or Google Play. Right now, the podcast is in there, and it is a video podcast in there. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that is I'm about to share my screen, and there are going to be some visuals that are really going to help you understand this. Because when I first taught this strategy, it was kind of impromptu on a coaching call. Like I was just mentioning it to someone. And then afterwards, I went into our member group and I shared some pictures. And people who were there were like, oh, these visuals were so much more helpful to understand the concept. So I would love for you to actually see the visuals to go along with it. I will try to describe them as well as I can for those of you who are on audio, or maybe you're driving and you can't switch it or be watching anything now. That's totally fine. You can always go back and get it. So again, download that Educate and Rejuvenate app. You'll be able to watch the podcast in there too. Okay, so I am now going to share my screen. Okay, so here we go. Oh, and I love MM Espinoza says being in the background is so great. Now we can see your facial expressions and understand why you are extra giggly, etc. I love it. And yes, if you're watching in the app too, even if you're on the replay, you are going to be able to see my facial expressions too. So, and kind of actually watch the podcast, which is super fun. Okay, I'm going to see, I know before I was able to have the screen like full screen and then just have me in the corner, but it looks like it might. Here we go. Perfect. Is it going to let me move where I am? No, that's totally fine. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about a concept, well, two concepts, bridge thoughts and ladder thoughts, which I mentioned before. So when we use these is when we are having a thought, a negative thought, right? Usually about ourselves or about a situation. It can be about teaching or about anything else. And we want to shift to something else, right? Like, so for example, I have up here on the screen one about getting a potential job. I've had this come up a lot when I've been coaching, whether it's a new teacher who's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this position, or it's a teacher going for an admin position, or for like going into more of a specialist position, or whatever it is. A lot of times you're like, oh, like I want to get this new job, but you might think there's no way that I could get this job. Now, it's kind of a jump to immediately just be like, oh, I'm the perfect candidate for this position, right? To jump from that thought to that. And so that is where a bridge thought can be really helpful, because you could and I'm not saying we can't, like maybe you want to put this on your vision board and start saying an affirmation like I'm the perfect candidate for the position. You can totally do that if you want. Like there's nothing wrong with that, but it might be even more helpful for you to do it with a thought that helps bridge that gap that feels believable right now, so that you can go from one end of the bridge to the other, right? So when you're thinking there's no way that I could get that job, a bridge thought is one single thought that helps you move from that side of the bridge to the other. So when you're having one negative thought to the positive thought, you're going to have a bridge in between. Now, the criteria for that bridge, like I mentioned, is that thought is believable to you right now. Like you can be like, oh yeah, I agree with that, but it's more positive than the thought that's naturally coming to my brain all the time. Because then you can remind your brain, no, like there's no way I could get that job. It's, whatever this bridge thought is. So let's look. I had a couple potential ones here, but I would love, actually, before we do that, I would love to hear from those who are live in the chat. What do you think could be a potential bridge thought for this? In between, there's no way I could get that job. Those of you who are live, put it in the chat. Like, so if you're thinking there's no way I could get that job, the perfect thought, like in an ideal world, I would think I'm the perfect candidate for the position, but I really don't believe that right now. I need to work my way over there. What is a bridge thought that we could have in between there? Let's see if I can see any come in the chat. I know there's a bit of a delay though. So we'll just, for the actual podcast, we'll edit out that delay so it's nice and speedy, but I can be patient right now for those responses to come in. And remember, each response that you put in the chat, oh yes, I have some of those skills to potentially do this job. Ooh, I love that, right? They need me. Yeah, that's a good one. Like, oh, maybe they need me. It might not be the right school. Oh yeah, maybe it might not. Or maybe it might be the right school. Like maybe this is the right fit. Like, I don't know. Like, and maybe it's kind of more just open and curious in between. I might be qualified. Yeah, kind of adding a qualifier. A lot of times qualifiers are really helpful for bridge thoughts. Like, I'm learning that it's possible that I could. It might, Bethany, if I take this course, work where I am for whatever amount of time, then I will have expertise for this job. I love it. And again, this is to show that there's no right or wrong bridge thought. It is whatever bridge thought is right for you in your given situation. This is just an example to help you learn the concept. So here are a couple I put, and you'll notice they're both different than what we got in the chat, but we had some awesome ones in the chat too. So a bridge thought could be, there's no way I could get that job, right? Or that would be the initial thought, right? And then the bridge thought could be like, it's possible that I could apply for the job. Like, oh, I could apply. Like, there's no way I'll get it, but I could apply. And it's possible. Or maybe I have more experience than I think. Like, I'm telling myself there's no way I could get it, but what experience do I actually have? that could be applicable to this job. Kind of just get your mind thinking in that direction. And some of these other great thoughts, maybe I can gain more skills and learn more. I love it. Maybe it's a good fit. I have the potential to be a good fit. Danny, that's so good. Erica, I need to remember to say your name. So when it goes on the podcast, y'all get credit for it. Charity says, maybe it's good fit. Bethany says, if I take this coursework where I am for this amount of time, then I'll have the expertise for the job. Heather says, I might be qualified. We have some great ones here. Danny, I have the potential to be a good fit. Lisa says, I have qualifications to get that job. Yeah. And maybe it's like, I have qualifications. Maybe you don't have all of them or something. But again, people get jobs where they didn't check every box all the time, right? Okay, Gloria, I might fit into it. Yeah, I might. I just might, right? It's also rethinking my skills and renaming them depending on the job. Exactly, right? So it's kind of thinking like, oh, what skills do I have that actually do apply to this that might not traditionally, but they might still help, right? Like, and that's why that's actually kind of Clarissa, the same line of thinking I had with maybe I have more experience than I think. Because it's like, oh, maybe this job was actually perfectly preparing me for this one. There's another bridge thought, right? Like, oh, maybe my current job has prepared me for this job. So many good thoughts here. So that is a bridge thought. So simple, right? It is one single thought in between the other thought. Another popular one that I don't have on here is like, for example, like there's no way, I actually changed it to like a more of a teaching scenario, but the one that was here originally was like, there's no way I could run a marathon. And then the one other over here was, I can totally run, or I am ready to run a marathon or something. And then it was like, it's possible that if I trained, I could run a marathon, right? Like, oh, I'm definitely not ready right now, but I could train and then I could do it, right? So again, it doesn't have to be teaching. This works for everything. Ooh, Christy is another good one. I might have the skills necessary for this job. That is perfect for this one here that we have on our screen, right? There's no way I could get that job. Enter Christy's bridge thought of I have the necessary skills for this job, right? And I'm the perfect candidate for this position. Like, amazing. I love it. Okay. And again, they have to be believable to you because maybe one person might think like, oh, I actually don't believe I have this, or I might have the skills necessary. Maybe it's like, maybe for them, it's possible that they could apply, or maybe for them, it's like, maybe I could gain some skills and learn more, right? It's depending on the person. So that is where there's not like a, ooh, this is the bridge thought. It's like, you get to pick the one that works for you. So you really get to kind of use your creativity with it as well. Okay, let's look at another scenario. Okay, so here's one. I am terrible at teaching my kids. That is the initial current negative thought that is being served to whoever, let's call this person, I don't know, Mr. Smith. Okay, Mr. Smith is thinking, I am terrible at teaching my kids. And then the ideal thought, like he wants to think, I am confident in my teaching abilities. But that's a big jump, right? And so having a bridge thought that's believable right now can help us like, move away from this one, start to build confidence in this one, which then leads us to the ideal thought eventually, right? So again, I want to turn it over to some of our amazing teachers in the chat. What are some potential bridge thoughts that we could have for this scenario? Okay, we have some already. MM says, I can gain the necessary skills to connect with my kids. Ooh, I love it. Because it seemed like maybe maybe Mr. Smith can't even believe that he has the skills right now, but he can believe that he can gain them, right? I can gain the necessary skills. Charity, I am a work in progress, right? Like, oh yeah, like I don't have to be perfect. I am a work in progress. I love that. Erica says, let me research some strategies to help me become better. Yeah, like I can research. I can, find some strategies to help me become better, become more confident, become more adept at connecting with my kids. Let me brainstorm with my coworkers how to connect with the students. I love this, Erica. Great comments here. Hannah says, I was just saying that today. I struggle with believing I'm a good teacher. I think I could say I'm using what I learned from last year to grow as a teacher. Ooh, that's a good one, Hannah. And this is a real one for you, as you're saying. You were just saying this today. So, and and see how what she's saying, I think I could say is like, what thought like is in alignment for her of what she thinks could help her bridge that gap. Like, what is it you need? Because what you might need to bridge the gap might be different than what somebody else needs, right? So I was just saying that today. Struggle being a good teacher. I'm using what I learned from last year to grow as a teacher. So like I've learned things from last year and I'm growing. I love that so much. Clarissa says, I can be okay with asking peers for help and advice. Yeah. So it's like, I'm terrible at teaching my kids. Oh, I can use my connections. I can ask peers for help and advice and realize that, these are things I can try. And maybe it's also like, oh, they help me realize that I'm doing better than I think. They have these struggles too. A lot of times when we talk to other teachers, like, and this happens all the time in our community, we realize like, oh, I'm not the only one who thinks that. Like even Hannah just now was like, oh yeah, I totally thought this. And I bet out of the now 851 of you through the Teacher Goals and Educate and Rejuvenate platforms together, mostly Teacher Goals X, all of you on X, you guys are awesome. But anyways, but some of you are like, oh, I think that too. And then Hannah's saying, I think that. And you're all now feeling less alone, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm not the only one. Gloria says, I can plan some ideas that will help me. Yeah, like I can do this. I can plan some ideas that will help. Bethany says, once they get to know my kids better, they'll trust me and I'll get through. Oh, I love that. Because it's like, I just need to give this some time really, like, because I'm going to get to know them better. And I will get through. Like I've gotten through in the past. Like that could be another thing. Like I've always made it through. Like so good. I feel like we could like create like a never ending list of potential bridge thoughts for any one given situation, right? Lisa says, I can teach my kids the skills that I have. I love it. Erica says, what can I do better and ask advice of peers that peer observe? I love it. Katie says, yes, Hannah, you nailed it. We all go through some of those days or seasons. Being a teacher is hard, but so rewarding at the same time. Absolutely. And yes, more about observing someone who has better skills than I do. Anna says, I can ask for feedback from other teachers on a struggle I'm having. Yes. Adriana on YouTube. Woohoo. Love seeing some other platforms here. I will focus on one thing I am doing well and then try another step. I love this. Athena says, I don't mind asking for help or advice. Yeah, so many great comments here. Sending the love. Christy says, it's okay to admit I'm struggling and admit I need help and take that advice to be a better teacher. So many good ones. Oh, and those are all correct, right? There's no right or wrong. This is just an example I had here before we even did that. So again, the bridge is like any of these thoughts that we could use to put in the middle. So another example here that you can see on the screen could be, I am terrible at teaching my kids. And then I'm learning how to improve my teaching each day, just like baby steps, and eventually I am confident in my teaching abilities. Okay, I love this. Okay, what I would love to do is have everybody put what is a negative, and we'll pick just one, okay? So, oh, and Erica says, I love the shift in identifying what is going well and how to grow from the negative thought. Yes, we always love to look at what is going well, right? What are we doing right? Look at our wins. That's a big thing that has its whole section in the Educate and Rejuvenate book as well. It's so important for us to retrain that negativity bias in our brain in general. And bridge thoughts and ladder thoughts are a way to help us do that as well. Okay, so we're still on bridge thoughts. I want to make sure we get to ladder thoughts. So we're going to do just one of creating one together here. So I would love for somebody who is here live in the studio to put a negative thought they've had recently about teaching or really anything. Because again, this doesn't have to be teaching, but something that anybody here might be able to relate to potentially. So we want the starting thought. We want what the ideal thought might be. And then together we could come up with like some potential bridge thoughts for it. So let's pop those in. And Megan on my team editing this, we can cut out the like space in between them coming in. But right now I will wait for responses to come in. Ooh, here's one. Okay, we're going with the first one. Christy says, I feel like I'm drowning. Let's go with it. So I feel, oops, and it's going to be hard I didn't think about how it's going to be hard for me to type. I'm going to move my keyboard over so I'm not hitting the mic the whole time. I feel like like I'm drowning. And this was kind of interesting because we're saying like a feel, like this is what I'm feeling, but it also is a thought we're telling ourselves, right? Because you're telling yourself, oh, I feel like I'm drowning. And then if you're kind of ruminating in that thought, then it might even cause like another emotion, right? So this one could get really interesting to actually like do some coaching on too. But right now we're just going to do a bridge thought. So I feel like I'm drowning. What would be the ideal thought instead of I feel like I'm drowning? And maybe Christy, maybe if you want to answer that one, because I want to know, this is your thought. So what is your ideal thought? I feel like I'm drowning. What would you like to think instead? I'm putting you on the spot a little, Christy. So thank you. There's some other great ones we could definitely do bridge thoughts here with too. And maybe we will get to ladder thoughts too. So we might be able to do that with one of these ones that's come in as well. Okay, Erica's got some great potential bridge thoughts here. Like I'm headed in the right direction. I love that. Okay. Oh no, Christy's able to tell us her ideal thought. Oh, that was a good one. I cannot connect with a student who needs support. That's another good question. My team starred that one, so maybe we'll come back to that one with ladder thoughts, just so we can get through this episode instead of waiting for other ones to come in. But with the help of others, I will begin to float. Ooh, that's a good one. So Christy, do you believe that right now? With the help of others, I will continue to float. What is the ideal? Like, I feel like I'm drowning. I am rocking it as a teacher, maybe. Like if you're just like dream world, what would that thought be, right? Again, let me know if that sounds off base, if that's a different thought, Christy, than is your ideal. Or maybe let me know, is this one you didn't quite believe right now? You could let me know that too, because then that wouldn't be a bridge thought for you. I can take it, I'm putting some of the examples from the chat. I can take it one step at a time. I can make a list, and I'm just shortening yours, Erica, but I love it. I can make a list and prioritize. Love it. I will become the student's favorite teacher. Ooh, I love that. Jeremy is a potential. I'm going to put that as a potential like ideal thought. I will become the student's favorite. Oh, okay. I did a space in the wrong spot. And apologies to everyone listening that my hand is hitting the mic a little bit right there. Sorry, it's a little unavoidable since I'm right-handed. Well, I guess I have to use both my hands for typing anyway. So I'm sailing through this year. Okay, Christy said, no, I believe this today. So these are great thoughts. Yes. So any of these would be a great bridge thought. And these could be potential like ideal thoughts, right? This is really as much an art as it is a science, because we are rewiring neural pathways in our brain. In the book, it really does actually explain the science behind this, because we go in depth about thought work and about like why our brain thinks the way it does and all those things. For now on this podcast, you can just be like, yes, this works. It is science-backed. And it's also an art, because there's not one right or wrong in here. And that's what I love about this work and about the self-coaching model we use, which we're not going to get into on today's podcast. But all of it is like art and science together. And I just love it so much. Okay, so that is bridge thoughts. And now we could have done one more, but we're going to move on to ladder thoughts, just so we don't take all day. Okay, so a bridge thought, like we mentioned, is 3 thoughts, like, right? It's a beginning, an ending, and a thought in between, right? Now, sometimes it might feel like a huge stretch to even just have one thought in between. So a bridge thought is where it's like, I just need one thought to help me bridge the gap. And that feels like enough. A ladder thought is when it's like, that's like even trying to just have one thought is way too huge of a jump. Like this is just such a huge hurdle for me. Or maybe you really do just want to take super baby steps. Like there's no right or wrong to this. I mean, in a way, like it says 2 hacks, really they're kind of the same hack. It's like using thoughts to build on each other, but ladder thoughts are where there's at least 2 in between. Now, it doesn't matter how many, this is just what Canva pulled up, but you could always get a bigger ladder, or you could just have 2 in between. It's up to you, right? And we have this for you we have both of these actually for you in the Educate and Rejuvenate workbook. So make sure that you claim that so you can do these. I just want to mention that while I thought of it. So ladder thoughts. This is an example that came from my book. So for example, I'm not worthy of love. Like that is one that's quite a big jump to I love myself. Like going from like, I don't even think I'm worthy of love. Like I'm a despicable human being or something like that. Like, I mean, that's so sad for anybody who thinks that, but I know that people do. I mean, there was a point in my life where I had thoughts like this, like not right now, but yes, there was. And I'm sure others of you have too, of the 926 currently people watching this, like, again, but that's a huge jump, right? Going from I'm not worthy of love to I love myself to self-love. So what would come in between is a series of thoughts, right? So this is an example from my book. So it might start with I'm not worthy of love. And then it might be realizing like, oh, I am a person and humans deserve love, right? I am learning that I deserve love. Like it's like, okay, like humans deserve love. I'm learning that I deserve it too. Then it's noticing there are some lovable things about me. Do you see how it's all like baby stepping up the ladder? And then I am worthy of love is the next one. Like I am worthy of love, but I don't love myself yet. But I realize other people love me and I'm totally lovable or whatever. And then the final one is, okay, now I got to the top of the ladder. I do love myself, my ideal thought. I've over time gone from thinking I'm not even worthy of love to having self-love. So that's a big one, right? And it doesn't have to be that big either. So don't feel like your example is like, oh, wait, oh, that's huge. Like that's deep. I mean, it is. This one's very deep. But you can use this for anything where you just want like more than one thought in between. Like we've done this about teaching situations too. I actually think the one we have starred, I cannot connect with a student who needs support. Like even that one maybe you need more than one thought in there. So that might be a good one. Are you up for it? You up for that? Love this. I think baby steps are what I usually need. Yes. And it can be for anything, right? Even the ones we did bridge thoughts for, like you could do more, right? Like I feel like I'm drowning. Yeah, maybe you do need more than one. Maybe you even need some of these like kind of in an order, right? But the thing is they kind of need to be working up. It's not just a random list of thoughts. It's like they're working up their way up. Like you're seeing incremental, like they're going up in positivity, right? Okay. Yes, you are ready. I love it. Okay. And am I saying your name right? I'm just saying but let me know if I'm not. I want to make sure I'm saying people's names right. Okay. So I'm not worthy. Oh, wait, no, we're doing the example. Okay, what was it again? I'm going to put it back up so I can get it on here. I cannot connect with a student who needs support. Okay, let's look at this. So now we need to look at what I cannot connect with a student who needs support. Now, again, might need to make this a little bit smaller so you can read it. Now we'll come up with a series of thoughts, right? What I usually like to do, and again, there's no right or wrong. Like maybe you just want to build your ladder and see where you end up. You could do that if you want. I do like to look at what is the ideal thought. Like what is it you want to think about it? And you could put it here or here, depending on how many thoughts you need. For now, I will just put it here. So I would just put like maybe something I'm connecting with this student and he gets all the support he needs. I mean, I just kind of put the opposite of it. So we'll go with that for the sake of this podcast, unless I hear something else. So I'm connecting with this student and he gets all the support he needs, right? That's kind of like probably what we're going for, the opposite of this thought. What would get us one step closer to that is believable right now? Melissa. Okay, perfect. And I think I knew that from somewhere, but on Facebook, now that sounds very familiar. Are you on like another platform as Melissa Espinosa? Just it's been on Facebook. So perfect, Melissa. Okay. Ideal, that works great. Okay, so Melissa, what is a thought that's a step above this that you would believe right now? But you're like, oh yeah, this totally rings true to me. And I love these examples here. I can get to know the student better. Yeah, is that, and again, Melissa, tell me what is believable to you. Heather's idea, have grace with yourself and celebrate each step you make forward. Yes. YouTube only, but sometimes it comes out different. I don't know why. Interesting. Technology. Gotta love it. But now I'm glad to know your name's Melissa because they've seen you on so many lives. I love it. Okay, Lisa says, I can find out what the student likes. Yes, right? I can start to ask questions to get to know the students. Yeah, and that's something you believe right now. So let's put that. And I love all these suggestions from everybody too. I can start to ask questions to get to know the students. Okay, so that is believable to Melissa right now. So we're putting that on the next rung of her ladder. So she can, every time this thought comes up, because it will come up again, you can redirect and be like, oh no, now I know also, yeah, my brain is serving me this, but I also know that I can start to ask questions to get to know the students. My stumper is what to do when they close off. And that's what questions are for, right? And again, that's where we can ask ourselves and even talk to them and be like, like what is happening here? Getting curious rather than frustrated can really help in situations like that. I can build rapport with the parents and the children. Yes, I love all these. Okay, so with this ladder, what we want to do is make sure these thoughts are building up, right? So this next one, Melissa, would be one that like you feel like you're close to believing, but you still don't believe it quite yet because this is where you're at on the ladder, right? This is like where you feel like, okay, this is where I'm at. What would be, yes. Ooh, look, Erica's on it. So your sticking point is when they close off. When they close off, I can write a note of encouragement. Or yeah, I like the whole when they close off, and I like the note of encouragement. Melissa, what feels good to you? When they close off, because this is something you're going to try to work on, right? You're like, this one's believable right now. You're worried about when they close off. I love that we ran with that because that's what you said. What do I do after questions? When they close off, I focus on connection, maybe. Because sometimes when, like, it's more like, when they close off, it's because they feel disconnected, right? I don't know. Tell me if that rings true to you, or if that feels like I can focus on connection, or I can ask what they need. I can ask what they need, focus on connection. Yeah, when they close off, I will use social and emotional supports, right? I love that. And so that can be a great time. Like if you notice, like, and I know you said like they close off. So I don't know if you meant just like that one student or your class in general, but either way, it could be a good time. Yeah. Like Jeremy said, to like, be like, maybe let's do some social emotional learning. Let's do like tap into our feelings, right? Or even do like a little meditation as a class or something. Like just take a few minutes for that, or a brain break. Moving your body can help to regulate your nervous system. We talk about that in the book. When they close off, I can, okay, you like the note of encouragement. So we'll do that. I'd write note of encouragement. Encouragement. I'm going to just put all of them. Gen, SEL, whatever. Any of those, right? Now you would customize this ladder how you feel is good. Then it would be like when they close off. And here it might be like, I am seeing progress, right? Like on the ladder, I would guess. Like it's like, okay, you're trying these things. Like, I am noticing progress with this student or with my students. I think it is a particular student we're talking about in this ladder, right? Okay. Yes, not taking it personally. I will remember not to take it personally. Yeah, it could also be like, and realizing that it's information, right? It's information that you don't need to take personally. Like it's data, right? And it's like it's qualitative data, not quantitative data, right? But it's information that we then use to make decisions. And that's then what you would do here. This might even be like on connection, SEL, and that could be regulating yourself even. Like, what can I do to help me remember not to take it personally? Ooh, these are such good questions, Melissa. So I feel like adding that to your bridge or your ladder here for one could be really helpful. I'm trying to figure out where, when they close off, this is like a lot to fit onto one. So I'm like trying to think, again, this is kind of like an art as much as it is a science. It's about 5, but it's the same thing in each. They need to know they can trust me and I'm not going to let them down. So it does seem like if you're taking it personally, that does, I mean, I even wonder if that needs to go lower on the ladder, because I feel like before you can be really asking questions and connecting and focus, writing notes of encouragement in SEL. You might need to be like, I know that this is not like, and I actually, this is one you believe right now. So we do need to have that there. I'm going to move these up because I think probably the next thing where we're seeing that is that we're going to want to make sure that you, when I notice they close off, I can remember it's not personal. I can remember to get curious, because when you get curious, you're not taking it personally, right? Then you're just tapping into curiosity, like, oh, I wonder, instead of like, oh, this means that I'm a terrible teacher, right? I cannot connect. It's like, oh no, I'm going to get curious. Why aren't they connecting? Why aren't we connecting? It's such a shift, right? Because if you're thinking, when we talk about even the self-coaching model and how we think impacts how we feel, right? When you're thinking, I cannot connect with this student, is that leading to connection? Is that leading to us actually getting curious and figuring out what's going on? So if we're trying to force some of these before getting to this, then it might, yeah. So we kind of got into some other stuff here too as we're building this ladder, but I always think whatever comes up is what's meant to come up. So I love it. I love this direction that we just went on. Gloria says, I can give them time and then try social emotional learning. Yes. Clarissa said, agreed, Erica, as long as I try to put my best foot forward, I cannot take their reaction personally. Yes. Look at them as they are, children. Yes, they're children. And they're absolutely children who we are not going to take it personally, right? We're going to give them time, and we're going to give ourselves time too, because it's going to take some time for us to connect. So is there something after progress, or would that be it? And again, that would be up to you, Melissa. I actually encourage you. So this could be like, I'm noticing progress. And then maybe after that you do connect, or maybe you need another thought. I don't know. That's up to you. It's up to whether you're able to bridge that gap. If you're like, oh, I fully believe this, I don't believe this, then you find another one in between that you believe. That's how you know you need to add another rung to your ladder. And again, there's no limit of how many you can do. This is just the one Canva graphic, but like you could always like duplicate it or find a different graphic, or, you know, whatever you need to do, or just do it on like a scratch piece of paper, you know? Okay, so hopefully that helps everybody to understand the bridge and the ladder. Jeremy says, make sure the students have all the social emotional learning support they need to the best of my abilities. Yes, and that helps so much. And when we do social emotional learning with our kids, and we do it on ourselves too, that's actually, if you notice with these, like looking at shifting our thoughts, like a lot of the Educate, Rejuvenate book is actually adult social emotional learning. And when we do this work ourselves, it makes it so much easier for us to do it with the kids as well. Lisa says, there are things going on in their lives that may not have anything to do with us. Absolutely. So we don't need to take it personally, right? If we are showing up and we are doing our jobs and we are helping those kids, and especially if we're able to, you know, get out of our own heads about it and get curious and dig into what is it they need? How can I support them? And maybe it's not educationally right now. Maybe they need something else before that education part comes, right? Sometimes that's needed. Okay, this was so good. I've loved this conversation that we've all had together here today. So I hope that this helped you understand these two awesome concepts of bridge thoughts and ladder thoughts. Now, again, remember, these are just the bridge thought is what helps you to bridge your current thought to the ideal thought. You have a bridge thought in between that bridges the gap between the two. So it's just one thought in between. And then the ladder thought is the current thought, the ideal thought at the top of the ladder, and as many thoughts as needed as you climb up that ladder. So I love both of these. You always get to pick when to use each one, whichever one feels the most ideal in any given situation. Like if you feel like there's a bridge thought that, okay, this thought is going to get me there, then wonderful, do the bridge. If you're like, this is one where I'm really going to need to baby step my way up, then do the ladder. And I hope that you find this helpful. This is just one of many concepts that I teach in the Educate and Rejuvenate book. Oh, you ask, can I do these thought tricks with students? Absolutely. I recommend that you do. In fact, we do have, for those who are in the Educate and Rejuvenate Club who purchased a copy of the book, we have a student version of the workbook as it was an extra bonus to our members. So anybody who's a member who purchased that, make sure that you check your email for that. Or if you missed it, email us at hello@educateandrejuvenate.com. This may be a good method to teach our school's older grades. Yes. And it definitely is like at a certain point, right? But yes, it is totally great to use with students. And even my, and she would have been, and like she is third grade now, but I feel like even like a year ago, she would have been able to do this concept in second. So, but I think it's definitely child dependent, And yes, this would be considered social and emotional learning. Yes. So the core, I'm not going to get into all of that today for social emotional learning, but I do have a podcast that's all about the core social emotional learning competencies. It's towards the beginning of the podcast. So be sure to check that out if you want to learn more about social emotional learning with students. We'll probably have more to do with that too, as well. And the interview I actually just did with Lana Penley too. Check that out as well. We have some awesome podcasts about social emotional learning. Clarissa said she learned so much. I love it. Okay, so we're going to wrap up this podcast here shortly. For those of you who are here live, we'll do our giveaway winner. So get your final comments in. So again, this is one of many concepts you will learn in the book, Educate and Rejuvenate. So if you have not claimed your copy yet, you can absolutely do that. There's paperback and there's Kindle. For those here live only, you can get the Kindle live for another 24 hours, or Kindle free, not Kindle live. You can get the Kindle for free for another 24 hours. So make sure to claim that. Once you've grabbed your copy of the book, for one, make sure to scan the code in the book and claim all your bonuses, which includes the workbook that has concepts from the entire book, including, you'll see, I'm going to actually remove this screen for a sec so you can see you've got like the bridge thoughts and the ladder thoughts in here. So you'll have like this version that you can do anytime, right? So make sure if you've purchased a copy of the book and you haven't actually scanned the code to claim your bonuses yet, you're going to want to do that because you'll get this whole workbook that includes exercises from the entire book. The bridge thoughts and the ladder thoughts are just one of many you're going to want to check out. So make sure that you do. I love it. Jeremy said this podcast was amazing and helpful to take back to my teacher friends at the high school level. I love it, Jeremy. And yes, this can totally be used with high school students. I love it. I love that you're going to pass it along to them, and we can use it on ourselves. We can use it with our students. Yes, so great. Christy said, I love this. So many great ideas to help shift my mindset. Thank you all. Yes, the workbook does have great visuals, Erica. Love it. Yes, if you print it out, you can bind it into a super pretty book. It is a PDF. I did this with my binding machine at home, which is always so fun. Okay, so I wanted to share. So once you get your copy of the book, it really helps us out if you leave a review of the book. It is one of the best things that you can do to help, oh, what did I just do? There we go. But where am I now? What is going on? There we go. It's the best thing you can do to help us get this book in front of more teachers. We really want more teachers to know about how they can shift their thinking, just like we did on the podcast today, how they can tap into their emotions. There's so much more in the book than just what we went over today. We'd love for you to help us get the word out. And leaving a review on Amazon is one of the best ways, because the more reviews, the more Amazon will push it, the more teachers will know that this book is for them. So if you're willing to do that, I want to show you how, because a lot of people have been like, oh, I'd love to leave your review, but I don't really know how. So what you need to do is you need to just go back to the page on Amazon, and then you can click on write a customer review. And you can write a review on Amazon, even if I know some of you are like, oh, well, I purchased from Barnes & Noble, or I got a book when I joined your lifetime membership back at Educate and Rejuvenate, so I didn't buy it on Amazon. That's okay. You can still leave a review. So you can write a customer review, and then you'll just put your star rating, whatever that is. You'll write a headline. If you have a physical copy, or you can like take a picture of your Kindle, it does help to add a photo or a video, but don't let that stop you from leaving one. And then just write a written review. And it can be so simple. Like it could be one sentence like this. Or it can be longer if you want, like if the book has really helped you. I read every single review, and if I could respond to them, I would. But they totally make my day when you leave a review. And again, as soon as we hit 25, I don't know why we're getting a review for a bidet here, but you know, whatever. Or an ad like on my book page, but okay. Anyways, when we hit the 25 reviews, we will send everybody, and we should hit that by tomorrow, especially with all of you here. We will send the Halloween directed drawings to our entire email list. When we hit 50, we'll send the Christmas ones. When we hit 100, or I can't remember if it's 75 or 100. When we hit one of them, we'll send the bundle to everybody, and then I'll just keep going. The more reviews, we'll send more stuff. And for those who are in the Educate and Rejuvenate Club, since you already have access to the resources, we will put a Starbucks gift card in the club membership chat on the app, either that or in the group, or both, just so we can make sure that you find it, because I know not everybody's used to the chat in the app yet. It's kind of new. So again, make sure that you download and read it. Erica says she cannot wait to download and read it. I'm going to just read a couple of the reviews for the podcast so those who are listening can hear. Here's what Hannah had to say. Hannah's here in the chat. I love how her review is right up here. She said, I absolutely love this book from debut author Kelsey Sorensen. If you are in education, this book needs to get into your hands immediately. This book helped me build self-awareness, and because of it, I am creating habits as an educator to make it a lifestyle change. Kelsey's 3-step framework for revitalizing your teaching will leave you with a better idea of how to navigate the trickier parts of education. One of my favorite quotes from the book is, remember, your thoughts don't hold authority over you. By assuming the role of observer, you unlock the ability to choose which thoughts to accept and which thoughts to graciously release. This really speaks to who I am as an educator, because there are many circumstances in the field of education that may or may not be within my control, but I can always choose how I think about them. And after reading this book, I choose to think about them in a more positive way. This then leads me to having more compassion for myself as well as the students I serve. Kelsey also includes a free PDF workbook, which I showed all of you, that you can download and work through as you're reading the book. I highly recommend it. Here's one that just came in from Kirsten. She said, I participated in the Educate and Rejuvenate conference as a presenter and participant for the last several years, and this book truly takes the cake. I truly admire and appreciate Kelsey's view on teaching and life. Let's face it, teaching is hard work and exhausting. Kelsey's framework for rejuvenating your passion for education is contagious. Not only is she a coach and a former elementary school teacher, but she is also a passionate and compassionate human. Oh, she's so nice. Who understands the plight of teachers in this day and age, both public school teachers and homeschooling moms and dads. She invites teachers to accept, feel, and reframe their emotions and ultimately do what's best for them and their students. This book is amazing for teachers who feel burned out, overworked, and overwhelmed. I highly recommend it. So those are just the first two that happen to pop up. I love them, but every single one of these reviews has just made my day. And again, they can be short. Like, don't overthink it. Like, look, see, this one's really short here. Charity says she wishes she was gifted at writing a review. You don't need to be gifted. Just write whatever comes to your head, whatever comes to your heart, whatever helped you. Do you get a workbook with downloading the Kindle ebook, or is it just for those who bought the physical copy? It is in the ebook too, because it's actually just literally in the content of the book. So it wouldn't even be possible if we wanted to remove it. So you definitely get it with the Kindle as well. Bethany says, beautiful. I love it. Oh, I love this one. Honestly moment. I just started reading this book and haven't finished yet, so I can update my review then. But so far, I'm loving all the real life examples Kelsey gives with the principles. Instead of just teaching the what, she goes a step further by demonstrating the how, by relating these situations she's seen in coaching. I related to Ashley in chapter 1 a lot. As you can see, I'm already taking a lot of notes in my Kindle. Excited to see what comes next in the book. I appreciated the metaphor observing like a student teacher. That's given me a new perspective. I also love that most of the metaphors directly relate to teaching. So yes, I did try to tie it into teaching. So I love that. So again, grab the book. If that doesn't give you enough reason to go over to Amazon right now and snag your copy. I would just definitely recommend going and doing it. And then if you would love to leave a review once you're familiar enough with the content that you feel good doing that, I would appreciate it. So again, everybody, it helps us get the word out, and we'll be sending resources as we do it. We really appreciate them. But again, I just really appreciate all of you being here with me tonight or whenever you're listening to this episode or watching it on the new Educate and Rejuvenate app so you can see all the visuals. I hope that these 2 hacks, the bridge thoughts and ladder thoughts, help you to shift your mindset. There's so much more to this book, though. So make sure you grab your copy and make sure that you've subscribed to Educate and Rejuvenate, the podcast, as well, to get tips like this in your earbuds for free each week, too. I'll talk to you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Okay, that was the podcast, but I'm still here live with everybody. So we will take this part. Oh, okay, I took myself off the screen again. Here we go. There we go. Okay, we got to do the giveaway. I did not forget that. Okay, so Erica Singley, you are our gift card winner for the Amazon gift card that my team member Kelsey Thomas just messaged me, which I'm not surprised, Erica, because you were commenting so much. So again, every comment is an entry. So great job. Erica says, I loved this with tools we are able to take back to our schools immediately, not only for ourselves, but for our coworkers. So thank you for engaging. You just won the gift card. So email us at hello@educateandrejuvenate.com, and we will get that to you. For those of you who have purchased a copy or even claimed your copy of the book, actually, make sure that you check your email for the information about our book club. We have our next book club call tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. And I want to do a giveaway on that one too, but I can't remember what we're giving away on the book club lives. So we'll have some sort of giveaway there too, and it'll be a smaller group. And that'll be on Zoom, so we can see each other. And we got it fixed because last week we accidentally had it as a webinar. And for the book club, I really like us to be able to see each other for those who want to. You don't have to turn on your camera, but I would love to see you at book club tomorrow night. It is, let me double check the time. Because I tried to vary it a little bit to accommodate different time zones. Oh, it's at this same time. So whatever time we started tonight in your time zone, it was 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That is when the book club is happening tomorrow. So I would love for you to come and join. Make sure that you have, the way you would get invited is either Educate and Rejuvenate Club automatically invited. And then those who have purchased a copy of the book or have a copy of the book where you were able to scan the code and claim the bonuses. So that's anybody who has a digital or a physical copy of the book. Make sure that you put your email into that form or you scan the QR code or put in the link, because we don't know you bought a copy just because you bought it on Amazon or claimed the Kindle or whatever. You have to fill out that form so we have your information. Amazon and Teacher Goals don't share that with us. I don't think even Teacher Goals gets it either automatically. Like Amazon has it. They're the owner of it. So we need to know that you actually bought it. But then once you fill that out, we'll have your information. You'll get the invite to all the book club calls. Tomorrow we're talking about chapters 2 and 3, but it doesn't matter if you've read it yet. We had people attend the first one who hadn't started reading yet, and they still were so glad they came. So yes, next time. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow at our book club live. So it's going to be so much fun. Okay. I don't know what you said bummer about, Melissa. I'm not sure what, I might have missed the original comment. So sorry about that. If you have any questions, just email us at hello@educateandrejuvenate.com and we will get you all taken care of. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. If you loved this episode, again, make sure to snag your copy of the book because there's so much more where that came from. And subscribe to Educate and Rejuvenate, the podcast, so you can get all the other episodes in your feed each week. And also the ones that I mentioned while we were recording, too, like those social emotional learning ones and tons of other mindset tips and tricks. So I will hope to see you soon. I'm going to try to be on Teacher Goals Live at least once a month. I know Lana Penley and I have talked about doing a live together too, because our books really do go together really well. So I should see you all again here soon. Goodbye, everybody.